Hey guys, NIMROD here, and welcome back to another Red Dead Redemption 2 video. And in today's video, we will be discussing something that I've noticed within the trailer in regards to Arthur Morgan and John Marston. So without any further hesitation, let's get right into today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video. Now, something that has been bothering a lot of people since the screenshots and the first two trailers we have of Red Dead Redemption 2 is that none of them outright have shown John Marston. And like I've said before in my previous videos, when it came out that this game was a prequel, and especially when it was confirmed within this past trailer that it was a prequel and it took place before the events of Red Dead Redemption, players were wondering and super excited in the hopes that we would play as a younger John Marston, myself included. I thought it'd be awesome as a prequel if we got to play with John Marston, you know, during his time, even before his time, running around with the Vanderlyn gang and maybe leading up to the events of Red Dead Redemption. Or my hopes were, even if it wasn't a prequel, we'd be able to continue as Jack Marston. However, we now know the setting of this next game, which is slated for the release of spring 2018. But I do have a timeline here that I want to point this out, and we'll get into the main points later on. So March 8th, 1855 is the birth of Dutch. 1868 is the birth of Bill Williamson. 1873, John Marston is born. 1873, birth of Javier Escuela. 1877, birth of Abigail Marston. 1881, death of John Marston's father. 1890, John Marston meets Abigail. 1899, death of Red Harlow, the protagonist from the original Red Dead game, in the Blackwater Massacre. 1902, Landon Ricketts moves to Mexico. 1906, John Marston is left for dead by his gang after a failed bank heist. And then 1911, death of Bill Williamson, Dutch, and John Marston. So that is the entire timeline from start to finish of the events surrounding Red Dead Redemption. And notice, not once was the name Arthur Morgan mentioned. Now, with this game being a prequel, we have been introduced to our main protagonist, who is Arthur Morgan, who is an outlaw who, and I quote, the story of outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang as they rob, fight, and steal their way across the vast and rugged heart of America in order to survive. Now, a lot of people went ahead and assumed that Arthur Morgan is indeed a member of this gang, and even with the poster we have of the 7 characters with the Red Dead Redemption 2 poster, we haven't identified the one in the middle to be Arthur Morgan. But a point came to me, and this will be in another video, but with Arthur Morgan obviously having such an important role in this game, enough to be the main character, you know, he's not Javier Escuela, he's not a supporting character, he is the main character in Red Dead Redemption 2. Not only have we not seen any trace of John Marston within any of these reveals we've had, but not once in Red Dead Redemption did John Marston mention Arthur Morgan, which I can understand from certain points, but as far as the story goes, not once was Arthur Morgan mentioned. Now, obviously, Arthur Morgan is brand new. I feel like he was created strictly for this game. He is brand new. There's no trace of him anywhere on the Rockstar Red Dead wiki or anything because he was created for this game, which I understand. But I wanted to mention, and I briefly mentioned in my last video, what is Rockstar's excuse for not having John Marston mention Arthur Morgan's name once in that entire game? Again, they can't go back, they can't make him say it because they created Arthur Morgan here, but it is very interesting, especially if Arthur Morgan is running around with the Vanderlyn gang, why John Marston never once said his name. We haven't had anything. There's nothing connecting these two characters other than the Vanderlyn gang. So I am very hoping that they do introduce some sort of reason as to why these two never mention each other. Like, obviously, Arthur Morgan is going to mention John Marston because we've only heard him say like a handful of words, but we had an entire game and not once with Arthur Morgan mentioned. And the reason I keep bringing that up is there are so many characters. You can go to the timeline of Red Dead and you can see all these characters that could have potentially been chosen as the protagonist here. We could have even played as, again, John Marston during his time with the gang, or a different gang member which we already knew. Bill Williamson, maybe even Dutch himself, Javier Escuela. We had so many potential protagonists for this game, but instead they decided to create somebody entirely new who I am a fan of. As of right now, I do like Arthur Morgan. But this makes me believe, as of right now, if Rockstar is doing this intentionally, if they intentionally have given us a character that we know nothing about, who is not previously mentioned at all, and they want it to go along with the timeline, my prediction is, by the end of the game, Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan will either be long gone before John Marston comes along, giving John Marston the excuse not to mention his name, or Arthur Morgan will have died before the end of the game, or by the end of the game, which would follow in the footsteps of spoilers, of Red Dead Redemption, because, you know, John Marston meets his demise at the end of the game. But again, I want you guys to understand, I'm aware that they can't write in Arthur Morgan's presence or his name within the timeline in Red Dead Redemption, because that game came out in 2010 and he's a newly created character. But if they don't give us a reason, then it has to be that he is either dead, he didn't make it, or something along those lines. And I noticed this because I was talking with my brother, and he was like, "Oh, we're playing as Arthur Morgan, he's a member of the gang, you know, or a strong relationship with the Van der Linde gang," but John Marston didn't mention him once. It's a very odd move by Rockstar when you think about it in that aspect. Again, they've had so many characters they could have chosen to be the protagonist of the game, but they decided to create somebody entirely new. Arthur Morgan, you know, he's the muscle of Dutch's gang, or, you know, at least a member of his own gang or something that is allied with Dutch. We're not too sure exactly what his tie is with Dutch Van der Linde, but this is something I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. That is my prediction. Unless we figure out something else, my current prediction is that Arthur Morgan, the main protagonist for Red Dead Redemption 2, will either die by the end of this game, or if there's a sequel, he will die before meeting John Marston. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys believe. I mentioned this at the end of my other Red Dead video. Why did John Marston not once mention... Making more sense, why did Rockstar choose a character that John Marston had not mentioned in the first entirety of the Red Dead game to be the protagonist here with such an important role? Like, I can understand if it was a guy that was not in the gang, not so closely related to the Van der Linde gang, but this is a character who is heavily influencing the gang. He's running around with the gang. He even looks Dutch in the eye and says, "I've always got your back, Dutch," when asked. So he has to have at least some connection or some reason to be mentioned by the characters later on in the game of Red Dead Redemption. Bill Williamson would have said something to him, because, you know, Bill Williamson's walking next to him away from that plantation house. So why did they choose an unknown character to portray the protagonist within Red Dead Redemption 2 but not be mentioned? Like, there are so many names and so many opportunities to tie in a character of which we've at least heard of or something, but they don't do that. Instead, we're given somebody incredibly new. And I realize I might be rambling on here, but I've been so excited to make this video because I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, because I don't think anybody else has mentioned that, why the disconnection between John Marston and Arthur Morgan. Be sure to stay tuned for all of the Red Dead Redemption 2 content that I'll be uploading. I already have 3 videos that are going to be in the process of being created here very soon, and that will be uploaded for you guys to see. I'm going to dig as much as I can, get as much info on Red Dead Redemption 2 as I can, be doing all the trailer breakdowns as they release, giving out as much information as I can. Now, for those of you that are subbed for the GTA content I do, I will still be making Grand Theft Auto 5 content. That is not going anywhere. As you guys have might noticed, every day I've been alternating what kind of content I've been uploading. It's been outfit, glitch, outfit, glitch. Expect a wide variety of things, because for a long time, all I was doing was solely Spider-Man outfits. Then I stuck with outfits, and now I'm just trying to branch out to do all types of other things. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it helped. I hope you guys are thinking. Again, let me know down in the comment section what your theories are. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it helped. And be sure to support the video with a like, as well as subscribe if you're in for more videos on Grand Theft Auto 5 news, DLC, Red Dead Redemption 2, and more.